Hello guys, it's BBS here. Today we are going to be doing a NFL team um tier list. So basically how this is going to work is going into the 2026 to 2027 season, we're going to see like who's a Super Bowl favorite or a Super Bowl contender or like something like that or like potential wild card teams or something like that. So let's go into this. Sorry if you can't see all that, everything at the same time. There's a lot of stuff in this screen. So okay, starting with the New Orleans Saints, I'm gonna put them at potential wild cards. So they're a wild card team in my opinion because last year they were starting to get pretty good towards the end of the season. So yeah, I think they will might make the wild card this year, but I'm not sure they're going to continue. But that's just what I think for them. Now the Miami Dolphins, I don't know their quarterback actually. I'm gonna put them at mediocre at best. I'm not sure really. They don't have Tua Tagovailoa anymore, but so I think I genuinely don't know. They might just go crazy and win the Super Bowl, but I doubt it. But yeah, that's just this spot right here highlighted. That's just I don't really know what's gonna happen honestly. So yeah, moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like I'm going to put them at missing the playoffs, but just barely. Like the Detroit Lions last year. They started pretty good and then they just collapsed. That's what I think is going to happen to the Baltimore Ravens. That's obviously my personal opinion. But yeah. Now moving on to the Bengals. I feel like they're a playoff team. That's just I don't know, Joe Burrow. I don't know what happened last year. They're like 6-11, so I don't know what happened then, but I think they're gonna get they're gonna make the playoffs in my opinion. But yeah. Now the Denver Broncos, definitely a playoff team. Bo Nix probably be healthy by then with his broken ankle, but yeah, I think they have a pretty good shot at making the playoffs. Now we have the New York Giants. I feel like they're gonna miss the playoffs. Yeah. Um, who knows their quarterback at this point? Um, yeah, I don't think like it's gonna be a good season for them. Obviously, I don't think they're even gonna start good or anything. I highly doubt it. Um, I don't really see how they can make the playoffs. They don't. They, they don't seem to be like productive. They have like these random spikes in their season. So I think they're gonna miss the playoffs. Last year they went like 3-13. But Jackson Dart maybe, but honestly though, I feel like they're gonna miss the playoffs. The Vikings, I feel like they're wild card potential. They were genuinely kind of good last year until the end. Well, like they started out, I think they started out bad, then they like get better, but it was too late. They never made the playoffs, but now I think they'll get a shot at the playoffs. The LA Rams, I think they're Super Bowl contenders. Matt Stafford's final season, and if Matt Stafford gets hurt, they have um Ty Simpson. I think that's his name. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his name was like Ty Simpson, and he can always back him up. He was like he got drafted by the Rams, in the draft, obviously. So yeah, I think they're a Super Bowl contender. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have no clue what's going to happen to them. They seem to just kind of fall apart randomly, and then they get good and they just fall apart. So like I said, the mediocre at best is just for teams I literally have no clue what's going to happen. So the Detroit Lions, I feel like they're playoff teams. I doubt they're actually going to go anywhere because they're, quite frankly, are cursed, it feels like. But yeah, so I'm going to put them at playoff teams. But I still don't, I think they're going to like get past the wild card and then maybe make the championship, but then they cannot make the Super Bowl. It seems like the NFL does not want them to make the Super Bowl. So I'm going to put them at playoff teams, but not as good as the Broncos or Bengals. Okay, moving on. Chicago Bears. Oh, the logo's outdated. You know what? I'm gonna put them at Super Bowl contenders. Caleb Williams is pretty good. They actually lost to the Rams, so this actually might be a Super Bowl or a championship game right here. The Rams versus Bears. I just saw that actually. Wait, that might be the championship game for 2027 season. I don't know. They were very good until I think they seemed pretty good until they lost to the Rams. But that was when it was like snowy, but so it was kind of hard to play. And it was like their fingers were frozen. So I don't think they could catch the ball that game because it was so cold. But anyway, yeah, I think they can. They are a Super Bowl contender. The sorry, not Rams. The San Francisco 49ers feel like are gonna miss the play. No, actually, I'm gonna put them at wild card. I feel like they might make the wild card, in my opinion. I don't know who's starting for their quarterback. I think it's Brock Purdy, but yeah, I think they might make the playoffs. Anyway, moving on. Philadelphia Eagles playoff team. That seems pretty suitable. Um, the Raiders mediocre at best. I don't really have much to say for the Raiders. I don't know who's their quarterback. Wait, who was their quarterback? I forget. But the Raiders, I don't think much is gonna happen. Now the Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna put them at playoff team. Yeah, I feel like that's a good spot for them. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're decently good. Jordan Love was actually pretty good, so yeah. I'm gonna put them at playoff team. Washington Commanders are gonna miss the playoffs. I think they might have a good season. I I just don't think that they're suitable for making the playoffs. So anyway, moving on to the Arizona Cardinals. Um, I'm questioning between wild card or mediocre. Um, you know, I'm just gonna put them at missing the playoffs. I don't have high hopes for the Cardinals. Really, they don't seem to be ever good. But hey, it helps the Seahawks. Anyway, so the Pittsburgh Steelers, I feel like are wild card potential teams. Sorry. Um, I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers will be playing. Not sure if he's been. I'm not sure if he's retiring or if he is. I think they have a shot, like they did this year or last year. Sorry. So yeah, I think they have a pretty good chance of making it. But the Bills, definitely a Super Bowl contender. Might be Rams, Bills, Bears, Rams. Or sorry, Bills, Bears. Yeah, I think they're Josh Allen. Definitely, he just seems like he can't get it sometimes. Just falls so short, so close to making the Super Bowl. But this year, I think he will. Um, yeah. Not to jinx them or anything. I'm just kidding. Okay, now the Atlanta Falcons, I think, are a team that is going to make the playoffs. I think they will get better. They have Tua Tagovailoa, he's not bad. I'm not saying that, but yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not sure how far they're going to get, but yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. Seattle Seahawks. Oh, I just want to put them here because I like the Seahawks, but I'm just going to put them in Super Bowl. No, I'm just going to. Well, I genuinely think they're Super Bowl contenders. I'm not just being biased, but generally, I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to make the Super Bowl, I feel like. Hopefully they won't pull like when they did in a couple years ago when they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Then they go to play the Patriots and then they get picked off in the end zone. So I think they're gonna make it back to back, but just my opinion, obviously. So now the New England Patriots. I think they're actually a Super Bowl favorite. They were so good. They were so young though that I think like Drake May, he was so young. I think he didn't know what it was like to play in a Super Bowl and they lost. So I think they'll definitely be better and they will definitely have a really high chance at winning the Super Bowl. Not let alone making it, winning. I think that will happen. So moving on to the Cleveland Browns. Definitely missing the playoffs. I'm sorry. Yeah. Questioning whether to put it between I don't know or missing the playoffs, and I think missing the playoffs is a good spot for them. Sorry, Browns fans, but yeah, don't see high hopes. I don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback. Is it Jameis Winston or is he with the Giants? I think he's with the Giants. Yeah, he's with. Okay, I don't know who their um, quarterback is, but now we have the Houston Texans and how are they going to put them here? They're definitely a playoff team. I don't know if they can make it past the divisional. Seems like they never do, but I think they will this year, in my opinion. I think they have a good. TJ Stroud is not bad at all, but I think I don't know. It's like he's good in the season. I feel like he can pull upsets, but sometimes just like playoffs are different than obviously different than the regular season. So yeah, we're gonna put them in playoff teams. Kansas City Chiefs definitely. If Patrick Mahomes gets back, they are Super Bowl favorites. I'm gonna put my Super Bowl contenders. Actually, sorry for that sound change, but yeah, well, okay, I gotta stop changing it. I'm putting them at Super Bowl favorites if Patrick Mahomes gets back at least by week 3 or week 5. Then I think they're Super Bowl favorites. They're a very good team. Travis Kelsey is playing, I believe. And yeah, so let's move on. Dallas Cowboys. Wild card potential. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Good offense. Their defense, that guy Bland, I think that's his last name. Yeah, Bland. Good, great defense, or I should say solid defense, and like 5-star offense. I feel like, and I feel like they have a good offensive line, but I think they will make the playoffs, and yeah, I think they'll at least get to the wild card. I think they're gonna have like 11-6 season or something like that. So yeah, the Chargers. Mm, I'm gonna put them at. Well, I'm gonna put them at wild card. Actually, I feel like it's like what they did this year. They make the wild card but lose. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Yeah. So I don't have high hopes because they never seem to just make it past the playoffs, or they never get to the championship, it feels like. So maybe they can do it this year. I don't expect. It's hard to predict what happens in the future, obviously. So, yeah. Now we have the New York Jets. Mediocre. I don't know. Don't have high hopes. I keep saying that. Sorry, this sounds like a repetitive video, but do not have high hopes for them. They cannot make an interception. They cannot play defense. And their offense is thrown up in the air. I have no clue who is. Is it like Cook? I think is his quarterback. No, it's Geno Smith. Yeah, Geno. Sorry, Geno Smith. That's their quarterback for the 2027 season and 2026 season. So I think mediocre at best. Geno Smith. He was with the Raiders. They didn't go far with that, obviously. So I'm going to say mediocre at best. Down to the final four teams. Carolina Panthers, playoff team. They they made the wild card last year, and I think they're going to improve. And they're actually gonna have a winning record and make the playoffs, is what I think. Yeah, so that's yeah, man, that's a good pick. The Panthers aren't terrible. They're a decent team, and they're not bad when it comes to the playoffs. Actually, they 3 points away from beating the Rams. Well, technically four, but 3 points away from tying against the Rams. And man, that game. I'm not even a big Panthers fan, and when I was watching that game, I was cheering for them so bad because they have not increased in the playoffs. But this year, I believe they will make the playoffs. So down to three teams. Obviously, we have the Titans. This is not their logo. They're actually changing their logo to just a circle, but with the T and the stars in it. But yeah, I'm actually gonna put them at missing the playoffs. I genuinely think there's nothing they can do this season. Um, I think their quarterbacks. Oh, I forget his name. They have a decent quarterback, Cam Ward. There we go. Yeah, that's his name, I believe. Yeah, Cam Ward. He had such high potential. First pick, I think, in the 2026. Yeah, I believe he was the first pick, and he did not show up though. I feel like, did not. I forget their record, but I doubt it was good. And I think it was like 4 or 3 wins at the most. So I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year. I think they're going to have basically the same record. And moving on to the Indianapolis Colts, I have them actually making the wild card. Um, uh, their quarterback, I forget his name, but I know his nickname, Danny Dimes. I do think that he and the Indianapolis Colts, they were decent. They were like 8-0, and then they started losing, and then they didn't win a single game. So I do think, yeah, Daniel Jones, that's his name. Yeah, I think that they're gonna make the playoffs for the first time if Daniel Jones is healthy by now. I think he is, and then I think they'll be ready to go. They have a good wide receiver, if he's still with them, Michael Pittman. I think he is. Anyway, yeah, moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final team, actually. I have them playoff team. I have them at making the playoffs, making past the wild card, and they're gonna have a. I'm also predicting their record. Basically, I think like 13-4. Honestly, I think that's the same record they had last year. So yeah, that's what I think. That's I think this prediction or these predictions are good. Um, yeah, well, obviously there's no NFC team in the Super Bowl favorites, but I don't know. There's three in the Super Bowl contenders. But yeah, I genuinely think this might actually be a good prediction. I think. Um, what would be kind of cool is if I check back a couple or the next year after the season's over to see what actually happens. Um, yeah, that would actually generally be kind of cool. Anyway, like if you want to see more of these, because I don't think there's comments on this. For some reason, YouTube doesn't let me have comments. It seems like, but yeah, like if you want to see more of these, and yeah, have a great day. Peace out. God bless.